Hello, I'm Hannah, and this is Hannah's Books. Today I bring you a great little tag that I'm afraid I am answering a little too late to slot in with Jane Austen July very well. My apologies. But I must say that A Little Jane Austen is an excellent antidote to the dark reading I've been doing lately. Faulkner's Sanctuary with the Faulkner and August crowd, and Thomas Hardy's Jude the Obscure as a buddy read with Lukács at Cruel Reader's Thesis. Thank you, Shelley, for creating this excellent tag, the Are You Like Jane Austen tag, which asks a series of questions to determine how much we have in common with Austen, and in the process gets us to talk a bit about our own backgrounds. Let's get right to the prompts. The first one, Jane Austen was an artist and a writer. Give yourself a point if you're an artist. Give yourself an extra point if you're a writer. Although I'm not an artist at all, I am a craftsman, primarily a knitter. Does that count? And I'm definitely a writer. 1 point? 1.5 points? Number 2. Austen was born to a large family. She had a total of 7 siblings, 1 sister and 6 brothers. Give yourself a point if you have 3 or more siblings in your family. No point here. I was an only child until I was 7.5 or so, and at that point acquired a little brother. And now I'm the mother of an only child. I can't even imagine life in a big family. The third prompt, Austen did not enjoy her formal education. Give yourself a point if you did not care for school. I loved school, even when the classes were terrible. I did not have an especially strong education until my post-secondary years, but I loved the experience of going to school. Sometimes I'm glad my education when I was young was so pathetic. Compared to many people, I had almost no studying to do once school let out for the day, and it gave me time to structure my own learning and follow my own interests in ways that I think have really worked out nicely. But still, I loved going to school, so I don't get a point here. Question number 4. Dark humor is woven throughout Austen's writing. Give yourself a point if you have a grim sense of humor. You must share a dark joke in order to get this point. Although I absolutely love other people's humor, I'm afraid that most of the time I'm ridiculously earnest. I don't think I can take this point. The 5th prompt, Jane broke off 2 engagements and died a spinster. Give yourself a point if you're single. No point for me here either. My spouse David and I have been married as of the end of August for 26 years. Number 6. Austen experienced low periods or spells of depression. Give yourself a point if you've struggled with mental health. I don't struggle with mental health in the profound and daily way that many people do, but I've certainly had some times in my life that were a bit low, that were clearly depression. Number 7. Jane moved away from her childhood home in her 20s. Give yourself a point if you've lived away from your childhood hometown or region. I left the Carolinas when I was 18, and while I love to visit, I don't imagine ever moving back. I've lived in a couple of cities along the east coast of the U.S., and for the last 25-ish years, I've made my home in Washington, D.C. The 8th prompt. Jane was not vain. Give yourself a point if you have very little interest in vanity. Check. Although I do enjoy my very large collection of scarves, you may have noticed that almost all the time I'm wearing a plain dark gray or navy or occasionally a white shirt. Fashion is really not my thing, I'm afraid. Number 9. Hair was of little concern to Austen. Give yourself a point if you cannot be bothered with your hair. I used to have long, straight hair halfway down my back, which I pretty much always wore in a bun or in braids. Now I keep it very short and often under wraps. I definitely earned this Jane Austen point. And the last chance for points. Austen expressed her distaste for hot weather. Give yourself a point if you dislike the heat. Well, now this is a point I completely have earned. We don't have central air in our old house, and while there's a room unit in the bedroom during the summer, the room where I spend most of my days and film is cooled with fans. On all but the hottest days, it is livable, but I definitely would rather be chilly than sweaty. I can't wait for the autumn weather, which potentially we might start feeling at least occasionally in just a few weeks. That leaves me with 6 points, or perhaps 6.5. As you can see if you look in the notes below or go over to Shelley Swearengen's channel, that puts me in an excellent category. You and Austin are friends. You two could enjoy a long walk in the country and chat about all the things you all have in common. I can't wait. Well, that's it. Thanks for this lovely set of prompts, Shelley, and thanks to all of you for joining me today here on Hannah's Books. See you soon.